there they are together under the earth. And it's as if buried under the earth, you get to come to life. And then imagine that all these parts of yourself begin to feel a call from light and a call from the sun. And there's an energy calling you to rise, an energy calling you upward. And a green stalk of you comes up through the soil, tiny at first. And the bulbs under the ground begin to get a little bigger. And as light calls you from above and dark nourishes you from below, you grow. So you grow invisibly under the ground, and you grow visibly above the ground in the daylight. And little by little, that stalk grows up. It's thick, it's flat, it's very green. And if you're allowed to grow, and no one comes and picks you and gathers you when you're very young, which they might do that, you'll begin to find that that stalk becomes very curly. The stalk will curl. So just imagine what that might feel like you're doing this dance in the air, curling into what's called a scape. And on the scape, there's also a closed, long, pointy bud. Now, it might be that you're allowed to mature, and we'll come back to that in a moment. But it also might be that some gardener or herbal person comes and harvests you by hand or with scissors. And just imagine the feeling of giving your gift, giving your medicine, giving your deliciousness. You get to do what you're here for. And even if your scapes are harvested, the bulbs under the ground are getting more and more mature, ready, ripe, juicy. Until they're fully grown. But let's go back a minute to one of the stalks that didn't get harvested when it turned into a scape. And what happens now is you experience bursting into white flowers. Just beautiful, open, small white flowers. And every part of you, I think you smell delicious. And that smell permeates the air and the soil. You invite your pollinators to come and sip from you. Again, you get to give your gifts. And now I invite you to take a moment just to be in the totality of having this full head of cloves under the earth, fully grown, ready to be used, appreciated, ready to be eaten. And in another plant, you might see that where the garlic scape was not picked, an exquisite, large flower, big and round, shaped just like the sun, but purple, bursts into bloom. So you have all these different parts of yourself. You have all these different stages of yourself. And everything has its purpose. If you like, you might want to imagine a gardener coming, or an herbalist coming, or a child coming and reaching their hand into the soil and cupping them around you and lifting you up and out, brushing off the dirt, and excited to be bringing you into the sacred hearth we call a kitchen to dry for just a little bit before being able to use you to make their meals fantastically delicious. So bring yourself now back into your human self. Feel your feet. Maybe just do this. Feel your feet on the earth, barefoot. And let your energy and your essence of your human self just rise up from the earth, feeding you like it fed the garlic cloves, like the garlic plant, the allium. And let that essence of your uniqueness fill you up from the bottoms of your feet, through your legs, through your torso, through your neck and head, filling you up with you. And take your next breath and let the earth nourish you with that breath. And on your next breath out, just exhale down and out your gratitude.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. I love the feeling of just generously gifting and just kind of expressing.
Great. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Say more about what you've kind of learned about the spirit of garlic over time.
Well, honestly, that is the essential thing I've learned about the spirit of garlic is I accept myself, in all my reek and the way that I am. And I have so much medicine. Now here I am speaking as garlic because that's what happens for me,
You
right?
become the garlic.
I become the garlic. So as garlic, I would say to you, I have so much medicine for you. I have
Hmm.
so much that can help your heart. Like garlic's like turn to me. I will help your cardiovascular system. Like garlic wouldn't use those words, right? But there'd be like that connection to your heart and your blood. And garlic would say, you don't feel well. Make soup with me. I'll help you with those COVID symptoms or that cold or that flu or that virus, whatever it is, that has you feeling so poorly. Um, and garlic helps our skin. There's nothing in this world like garlic honey. Garlic honey is so good. Um, so yeah, the spirit of garlic is let me help you take care of yourself.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
think there's just a natural generosity in that spirit. That's beautiful.
Natural generosity and natural sense of, well, it's sort of like a Jewish mother almost, right?
Hmm.
Kind of as when I can say that, it's sort of like a Jewish mother. I always joke you can't take the Jewish mother out of the Green Witch, right? Guys, put me in soup, put me in the chicken soup.
That's great. Well, we've had a little deeper dive there with garlic. Are there other culinary herbs that you'd like to bring forward and help us shift our to a deeper relationship with them?
Well, let's see. I'm drinking cinnamon tea right now in my lemon cup, right? And so cinnamon is a beautiful tree. And a lot of people don't even realize that, right? We're used to cinnamon powder. My comfort food growing up, my favorite comfort food growing up was cinnamon toast, right? Toast with, butter, cinnamon, and sugar. So cinnamon is warming and spicy and kind of comforting as well. And when I first met a cinnamon tree, I just threw my arms around the tree and I was in the rainforest and the guy just laughed. He threw back his head and just laughed. I was like, but you don't understand. I've loved this tree forever without knowing this tree. So it'd be kind of like, I guess, if you had a musician you loved and you listen to their music all the time and you love their music and then you get to meet them. It's thrilling, right? It's kind of thrilling. So cinnamon is just delightful. and in the body helps us to balance blood sugar, helps us with it's a wonderful tea for if like you don't need an excuse to drink it. It's just delicious. But if someone is nauseated, 6 sticks of cinnamon covered up with a quart of boiling water, steep it for an hour. It can stop all of the vomiting in a very short time. So,
Hmm.
as an example of the medicine of
Hmm.
cinnamon.
Hmm.
And one of my students was telling me her dad was had gone into blood sugar shock, and they called an ambulance, an emergency, and she was studying with me at the time, and she made him a cup of cinnamon tea and didn't have time to steep it an hour, just used what she could. And by the time the ambulance arrived, not long after, he was no longer in the shock. He was no longer like in a danger zone. So I mean that's remarkable, right?
That is remarkable.
It's remarkable. Myself, I know cinnamon is in one of the modules in the course, but I do tend to use, as you said, the bioregional. I do tend to use the plants that grow all around me so that I can develop relationship with my land, because then this brings us back to the kinship of land speaks to you, it teaches you, it has help. So in my land, I might work with a plant like garlic mustard. So it's a mustard that tastes like garlic, and it's a wild plant. And any wild medicine is the most fortifying substance that you can ingest. Wild medicine gives us something that even the most beautifully grown organic food cannot.
What do you consider some of the other essential culinary herbs to just weave in wherever you can in your cuisine?
Hmm. Okay. Garlic, ginger, salt is not a culinary herb, but salt is an essential. Marjoram, maybe a little less known of one. Um, Burdock, right, is I use more in the kitchen than I do in the medicine chest. Seaweeds, right? The weeds of the sea. We don't tend to think of the seaweed as wild, but it's wild. It's a weed. It's the
Hmm.
weed of the sea. Those are essential for our heart and for our like fluidity, flexibility, the health of our blood vessels. I also put up an enormous amount of my herbs are put up in vinegar, because vinegar in and of itself, excuse me, is a vital medicine, right? And so that could bring us to apples, right? So apples are a staple for healing the digestive system. Apples are a staple in the kitchen. And I can give a quick recipe that's one of my favorite go-tos for people if they have indigestion or a really upset stomach or diarrhea or constipation. Is like plants don't just do one thing, they do the range of things. So if somebody's really not feeling well in their belly with any of these things, you peel an apple, chop it up, thank it, and you can put it in a little bit of water on the stovetop or the oven and cook it for 20 minutes or so. And then you take that cinnamon and you add the cinnamon to it, and you have a healing, delicious medicine.
Love it. What a great recipe. Well, Robin, you're just really an inspiration, and I know that there's so much that you have to teach to really bring this kind of green witch perspective alive in the kitchen and really shift our lives in relationship to plants and really live much more holistically. So let's talk about your upcoming course that we mentioned earlier, which is called The Green Witch's Kitchen: Rituals, Recipes, and Wisdom to Embrace the Magic and Medicine of Culinary Plants. You can find it at the URL greenwitchkitchen.com, greenwitchkitchen.com. There's no prerequisites. You don't have to have any background with the herbs at all. Really, Robin will take you where you need to go and lay the foundations for really to this paradigm shift in how you work with natural ingredients. And so, Robin, let's first hear a little bit about some of your intentions for what people will come away with from the program, and then go through the course and give a tour of what's coming.
Yeah. So one of my intentions is to make nourishing yourself more user friendly, and less daunting, or even like to have it go from being a chore, which often happens in our busy lives, to being like your sacred journey that you get to do, not that you have to do, but that you get to do. Let's even talk, even if it's once a day, right? That you enter into the kitchen as if you're going into the temple, right? And you're getting to have like this deep, rich, delicious experience. So my intention is to make it less um, less difficult to take good care of yourself, and to approach the kitchen as a place of healing, where you do what you do because of love, not because of have to, or I'm afraid if I don't do this, this could happen to me. I could get sick with it's about learning truly the joy and benefit of true self-care through what we do in our kitchen, which might be cooking, or it might be just the spices we add. So I'd like to encourage a lot of creativity in the kitchen and show people how they can have things ready that can change any meal from, like, okay, good to fabulous.
Module 1 is called Moonlit Magic. Illuminate your rituals and healing practices with lavender, mugwort, and marjoram.
Hmm. So lavender is one that not a lot of people necessarily have in their kitchen, but I want you to have it in your kitchen, because lavender is so calming and soothing and sweet and delicious. And Artemisia mugwort is a plant that is a beautiful wild bitter. I mean, you can buy it too, but it's many places this plant grows wild. A bitter that I want to show you how to incorporate into your food. And marjoram, I think the thing I can say to give you a sense of why I included marjoram is the beautiful nickname for this Mediterranean plant is Joy of the Mountain. So I want to show you how you can work with Joy of the Mountain on your body, in your body. And for all the plants, I'm very excited to share some of their lore, some of their stories. So those are the three we'll focus on that first night. And then inevitably other plants will come into the conversation.
Module 2, the healing and uplifting magic of rosemary, basil, and thyme.
Mm. Oh, I can't even say enough about these three plants. Rosemary is so beautiful. These are Mediterranean as well. The rosemary can help with everything from migraines to memory loss. And there's so many ways to prepare it to make it just easy, again, to use, whether we're making a rosemary oil. I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly what we're going to make with each of these things each night, but I will be having a recipe, share recipes and a booklet. Um, so basil, we talked about a little. So, like, just to bring it into another sphere for a moment, I would love to share stories about basil in magic in so many cultures. Just as an example, it is strewn across the entryway of new businesses to invite prosperity in many places, especially in Central and South America. But everywhere basil grows, it's considered a sacred herb. And thyme, Ah, everyone needs thyme. Thyme is an anti-hysteric. It is one that is calming to the respiratory system. I'm not sure if it can help teach you how to be on time, but we can explore if that's possible.
That's interesting. Connected to the sound of it as well. So, Module 3, plant a vision seed for new beginnings with sunflower, sesame, and fennel.
Yeah, so seeds are just remarkable in and of themselves. A seed holds the past and the future in it, right? The past of everything that went to create that seed, and then the future, right? The future generations. And seeds have so much, like, they're powerhouses of nutrients. And the sesame seed, for example, is um, has the kind of minerals in it that make it a beautiful medicine for our nervous system. And I know I'm going to share a couple of recipes for sesame, like sesame tahini, which is one of my favorite things. And sunflower seed, well, there's stories there because that plant, I believe, saved my life. Sunflower seed is an absolutely specific seed food for help to bind with radiation and pull it out of the body. So that is a remarkable thing. In fact, where they planted sunflowers at Chernobyl after the nuclear meltdown there, the accident there, the sunflowers drew all of the strontium 90%, they said, of the strontium 90 out of the soil and took it into themselves. So the plants then had to be burned, right? So these plants are so generous. Right. And then the other one was fennel. Oh, there's so much lore and magic around fennel. And then just on the face of it, fennel is really helpful for your digestion.
Great stuff. Module 4, honor the gifts of elder, rose, and plantain for a deeper connection to your past, present, and future kin.
So this is a very intimate and personal module for me because every herbalist, the way that I learned, we have three primary allies that are forever allies. Doesn't mean we don't love and work with other plants, but the allies are the ones that they're like your besties, right? These are my three. So I look forward to sharing all sorts of things about each of these. Plantain grows in everybody's yard and it grows in the parks in the city, and it's so nourishing. And plantain has a spiritual medicine that is remarkable. What I've seen is that, so on the physical level, we use plantain for what's called failure to thrive in babies, when no matter what they're eating and being given, they're not doing okay. And I just want you to think about that for a second when I tell you that spiritually, what plantain has done for so many people is restores your joie de vivre when you have become jaded.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful plant for restoring wonder and innocence.
Wow, good medicine for the moment as well. Module
That,
5, sweet healing, support the immune and cardiovascular systems with the power of strawberry, raspberry, and blueberry.
yeah, we're going to have fun with that one, right? These fruits that we know as just delicious foods also all have medicine for the body and spirit. Blueberry told me that she came from the stars. This is a cosmic visitor to the earth and opens us to sweetness. Strawberry medicine has particular medicine for girls and women, womb medicine. And what was the other one? Blueberry. Blueberry is, of course, was it
Yes,
blueberry?
yes.
Blueberry is, of course, famous right now as a superfood, right? And all of them share this property, the chemistry of having anthocyanins that give them their beautiful colors, and those colors translate into our vitality.
Module 6, tropical delights, embrace cinnamon, hibiscus, and ginger's anti-inflammatory properties.
Well, there you go. I'm drinking cinnamon. Ginger can bring down inflammation in the body and also externally. Um, and hibiscus is moistening and cooling and juicy and helps us with, it can help the heart, it can help blood pressure. So yeah, there we'll take a little trip away from, from my home anyway, into the tropics that night with those plants that, I mean, we have forms of hibiscus that can grow in non-tropical climates as well. So we'll talk about that too. But yeah, I want to share drinks and things we can make with these wonderful tropical plants.
And finally, Module 7, embrace magic and celebrate the summer solstice with the help of peach, linden, and rowan trees.
Okay, now we're going all out for the magic that night, Stephen, because summer solstice is a night for making wishes that come true. It's the peak of light. And these three trees all are associated with fairy energy and the magic of, like, just bringing in the magic of the invisible worlds. And peach is for just what you would think, making things moist and juicy. And again, there's always physical medicine that goes with it as well. It's a very famous anti-nausea herb for pregnant women. The linden tree is a beautiful, calming, sweet smelling tree that I love to tell people this truth, which is whenever I pick linden, children show up. It's just, they just, I don't know why, it's just the sweetness of the tree and it makes us happy and is one of my favorite herbs for grief when we are grieving. Very, very helpful, soothing. And the other one was rowan. Rowan is very magical tree. So much so that in like Celtic cultures, like don't cut down the rowan tree, like we hear with hawthorns as well. So we'll talk about that's a little bit lesser known in America anyway. So in the US, so I'll talk about the flower and berry medicine for vision and like vision and vitamin C. Again, we're going to cover the bases with stories, physical medicine, magical, and for meditation and spiritual evolution. And the plants help us to become who we're here to be, which is ourselves. And once we claim that, which is of course an unfolding process, then what we need to do, it's like the out breath that follows the in breath. It's there for us.
Well, what a great program, and so empowering to have this perspective and the deeper knowledge about how to work with each of these different medicinal herbs. And so it's laid out in more detail at the URL greenwitchkitchen.com, greenwitchkitchen.com. In addition to the 7 90-minute live sessions that Robin Rose just described, you'll also get recordings for every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts to work with, study, and highlight. There are weekly practices and exercises for home. There's a Facebook community to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll also see a number of extra bonuses that are each designed to enhance your journey. There's a dialogue between Robin Rose and Phyllis Curott. It's called Nature's Magic and the Healing Power of Plants. She's also a Shift faculty member. You want to share a little bit about that bonus?
Yeah, that was a delightful conversation. We went in a lot of directions about that, but essentially exploring how working and playing with the plants is empowering and enhances your sense of being held and supported by the earth so that you can be who you are and do what you came here to do with ever more joy.
It's a great extra bonus, just that. And then we've got another one. It's called Kitchen Medicine, a digital excerpt from The Gift of Healing Herbs. This is Robin Rose's book. You want to share a little bit more about that excerpt, Kitchen Medicine?
Oh, yeah. So we picked some of my very favorite pages from The Gift of Healing Herbs, and it's quite detailed with information about, I don't know, maybe 30 different plants and foods commonly found in our kitchens and what they help us with and what we can do with them. And my instructions are very user-friendly because I learned a long time ago that if I didn't make it easy for me, I wasn't going to do it either. I wasn't going to take care of myself the way that I want to. So that's what's in those pages, is very easy to apply information and hopefully inspiration for you to enter into your kitchen with kind of new eyes, perhaps, and enjoy new things in your meals.
Great extra bonus. And if that's not enough, we have a special bonus that's available just for today until midnight. This is a video dialogue with Robin Rose and Adriana Ayala, who's another Shift faculty member. It's called The Intersection of Indigenous and Greenwich Worldviews. Sounds really fascinating. You want to share a little bit more about that dialogue with Adriana?
Yeah, I actually initiated the topic because it's something that I truly wanted to explore and expound upon, because I just kept noticing that it was really how aligned the Green Witch Path was with your basic. There's many kinds of nations, of course, but the essential aspect of Indigenous wisdom, that everything's alive and that we're all connected, and that the more than human world is always communicating with us and seeking to guide us, seeking to help us, to give us what we need in order to then turn things around in the bigger picture. So that's what Adriana and I discussed, including very specific herbs as well. And again, as with Phyllis, Adriana and I had a really beautiful time having that conversation and exploring for ourselves for the first time, what that really meant.
I'm sure that's just a mind-blowing dialogue, really two amazing pioneers. So that's our special bonus that you get if you sign up by midnight tonight. So again, it's all laid out in detail at greenwitchkitchen.com, greenwitchkitchen.com. And a few other things. We've kept the investment very accessible for this program. It's just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start on May 13th and run Tuesdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, in the community as well. So there's lots of great value. You're in really great hands, and you will have a deep shift of your perspective on how to work with all of these beautiful allies in the kitchen. So, Robin Rose, it's been really a wonderful hour with you. Anything that's still on your heart that you want to share with folks who are considering joining your course?
Sure, I hope that you do. I look forward to meeting you, to working with you, to co-creating with you, and remember that you matter.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for the wise words, and thank you for your generous spirit. And thank you all for coming. And if you would like to go further with Robin Rose, you can do so at greenwitchkitchen.com, and you'll get that special bonus with Robin Rose and Adriana if you sign up by midnight tonight. So
Okay.
thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Stephen.
Many blessings.